Welcome back to Coffee Cafe. We are on week 2 now. So here we're going to be starting on our journal number 3. Okay, fresh page. And let's see what happened the following day on Saturday, June 8th. All right, so it says right here that we purchased a truck from Honest Rob's auto dealership, okay, for $28,900. All right, tax was $2,340.90. Documentation and fees like that cost $968. And a down payment, which we placed, was $2,987. So once again, we're going to be approved by the Bank of Nevada, all right, for a 3-year loan at 3% interest, okay, and principal and interest payable on the 20th of each month. Payments are $849.81. So in this case, what did I buy?
A truck.
We bought a truck. So let's go check out in our chart of accounts if we have a truck.
It's 170.10.
170.10. All right, it is 6/8 right now. We bought a truck. Account number 170.10. Okay. All right. How much is my grand total truck?
$32,208.
Good. 32,208. Oh wait, 32. Okay, you're close. It's a little more than that, but let's see what is going to be included as part of the cost. Okay, so in this case, we have 28,900, right, for just the truck alone. We had to pay $2,340.90 of tax, and we had to pay $968 for the documentation fee. So in this case, it should be this should be 28,208.90. Okay, that's the total amount of truck, because whatever's included to get the asset to the store and ready for service, right? You need to pay for tax and you need to pay for documentation registration fees. Okay, so my truck is worth $32,208.90. Okay, what else did I acquire, or what else did I do? What else happened in this transaction?
You got a loan.
We got a bank loan or a truck loan. Good. Let's look in our chart of accounts. Do we have a truck loan?
Yes, 28020.
Good. Okay, so truck loan. $28080. Okay. Now, because we increased our liabilities, how much was my truck loan for?
$29,221.90.
How did you figure that number out?
The sale price minus the down payment.
Sales price minus the down payment of $2,987, which should give you $29,221.90. Okay, so then if that's the case, then what do I need to put here as my second credit?
checking for the down payment amount.
Good, correct. So checking for the down payment amount of 2987. Okay, and if you do this too, you can make sure that these two match on both ends, which they do. All right, 2987. All right, great. So now that we wrote a check, right, we need to go to a check register. Okay, 68. Check number 1508 for the amount of 2009-87 to Honest Rob. To Honest Rob's auto dealership. Okay. So I wrote him a check number 1508. So back to my journal. All right. I'm going to go ahead and make a note here. Honest Rob's Auto Shop. Okay. You can say that you wrote a check number 1508. Okay. You could say Main Bank, Nevada. Right? Where you got approved for a loan. 3% APR 3-year loan. Okay. Good. So now that I wrote a check and I got a truck loan, now we can go ahead and enter this information into our general ledger. Okay? So very first thing here is we acquired a truck. Here we are, truck under vehicles. So 6-8, right? We got a truck. It's up to you what you want to put in here. I can say the truck was 2,800 plus tax of 2,340 plus fees or dock fees of 900, and is it 900? $968. Okay. General journal number 3 now. And we acquired this truck for $32,208.90. Okay. Then the next thing that we have is a truck loan, which is a liability. So I'm going to liabilities. It should be at the very bottom of liabilities. Here we are, truck loan. Okay. And this is where you could say 3 years, 3-year, 3% APR And then you could say monthly payments is going to be 849. I think it's 84981. 84981 per month. Okay. So 3 years, 3% APR, $849.81 a month. Right? PR is General Journal number 3. And this time it's the credit side for 29221.90. Which then brings your credit balance to be the 29,221.90. Okay. Then last that we did here too is going to be updating my checking account, which we wrote a check out for the truck loan, right? Or for the down payment. So in this case, 6/8. All I can say here is check number 1508. General Journal number 3. And we decrease our checking account by $2,987, which then drops us down to $7,202.42. Okay. Okay. So now that I completed my ledger, next thing I have to go to now is to my subsidiary ledger. Right? So here we're going to go to Honest Rob's. Okay? Here he is. Now, only thing that you need to be able to put here is just the details in regards to purchasing the truck. But in this case, right, the only thing that I owe Mr. Rob right now is that I just made a down payment, all right? The loan belongs to the bank. So now that I paid, right, Honest Rob for the car and I drove it off, from here on out, I don't owe Honest Rob's anything. I actually owe the bank now, the main bank of Nevada, because they're the one who approved me for the truck loan. So in this case, right, I only need to put in information that's pertinent to the car and pertinent to the actual down payment. So in this case, I'm just going to make a note that I bought a truck. So purchase truck, right, from Honest Rob's. And then I only paid a down payment. Okay. And then down payment with the check number 1508. Okay. Invoice number, there's no contract number there, so I could just go ahead and skip that over. Post reference, once again, this was General Journal number 3. Here, you're not going to get many discounts when it comes to making payments, so we could skip that section. And the invoice amount was for $2,987 because that's how much I wrote the down payment for, which I know I paid for it. So once again, we know that this is what the bill was, right? We're not going to write for the whole entire 32,208 because I don't owe Rob after this. I made my down payment and I drove the car off. So that means I'm not responsible to pay for Rob anymore. I have to pay for the National Bank. So in this case, I want to make sure that I make it clear that I don't owe Rob anything, but I did write a check for him to make the down payment. So then after I'm done with Rob, I have to now go ahead and go down to Main Bank, okay, of Nevada, right? Because I got approved of this. I also got approved for a truckload. Truckload, right? Which is, right? Truck loan, which is 3 years, 3% APR. Yep. And then invoice again. We don't have a loan number. But here, post reference once again is General Journal 3. Okay. And here, this is where I can actually write that I owe $29,221.90 because in this case, I actually borrowed money. Where the first line up here, they gave me a line credit, but I haven't spent the money or meet the requirement in order to get charged that interest. So in this case, this is where I can actually fill in, right? Once again, a truck loan, you're not going to get discounts for it. But the truck loan is for $29,221.90. And I'm going to leave it there because if I draw my formula in here once again, right? Invoice number minus any prepaid, minus any returns and allowances, minus any discounts, minus any payments. I owe the Main Bank of Nevada $29,221.90. Right? And then of course with that being said, right? That is where I'm able to make monthly payments to meet those requirements. Okay? Right? I'm going to make monthly payments, which then it's going to slowly it's going to slowly reduce the amount that I owe Main Bank of Nevada. Okay? So in this case, this was a one where you have to deal with two different people, right? One is being the person who sold the car to you, and the other one is to recognize the bank that accepted the loan, that gave you the loan. Right?
Can you please go back to Honest Rob's? Okay, and then the formula on accounts payable, can you have that again, please?
So it's going to be your equal invoice number minus prepaid minus returns and allowance minus any discounts minus payments.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Uh-huh. Anybody else?
You say the invoice number minus prepaid amount?
Uh-huh. Minus returns and allowances minus your discounts minus your payments. Okay.
That's zero. Thank you.
Perfect. Okay. So there we go. We finish our journal, our ledger, and a subsidiary ledger, right? Any questions so far?
No, I'm good so far.
Okay. now we have another purchase order. Right? What is this purchase order for?
Coffee mugs.
We're going to buy coffee mugs. Okay? So in this case, I submitted a purchase order. Okay? But what's different about this purchase order?
We made a down payment.
We made another down payment to this purchase order. So, with that being said, right? They said that we bought 80 ceramic coffee mugs for $245 per unit, which is a total cost of $196 even. All right, and they required us to give a down payment for $100. So in this case, right, I need to pay for a prepaid account, which gives me, right, once again, I'm paying in advance for services, right? So in this case, I'm paying for $100 worth of my inventory, right? So in this case, right, if I'm paying prepaid accounts, and I wrote a check, okay? I think prepaid accounts was account number 18600, while checking is 10100, okay? In this case, how much is the down payment for?
$100.
$100, okay? So, right, we need to write a check. So we're going to go to our checking. Okay. And here we wrote check number 1509. So $100. And to this, who am I writing this check out to?
All things ceramic.
Good. All things ceramic, right? But we also need to put in the purchase order as well. So check number 1509, purchase order. Purchase order number 170305. So 68, purchase order 17305. So we bought this from All Things Ceramic. And we bought coffee mugs. For a total of $196. Okay. So there we go. All Things Ceramics, right? We put the purchase order for $305 and we made a down payment to it. So in this case, right? Go back to your journal. We're going to put our description as this was All Things Ceramic.
Wait a minute. You say 196. Why is the 196 on purchase order?
Because that's how much the quote is for.
Oh, the total cost.
If you take 80 times 245.
Yeah, I thought it was we are doing a check.
Okay. No. The check is just only $100. So there we go. All Things Ceramics, right? Purchase order. This was a down payment on purchase order number 170305, right? Down payment. Check number 1509. Okay. So that's that journal right there. So now that we made a down payment on our inventory, right? Now we just have to wait for it to arrive for us to record the bill. So in this case, right, we can now go to our ledger, our general ledger, to go ahead and update the accounts. So here I have a prepaid account for $100 and I have a checking for subtracting $100. So in this case, we're going to go ahead and locate my prepaid accounts. All right, here it is, prepaid accounts, set towards the bottom of the page here. Right, I'm also going to put right here, down payment on PO number 170305, check number 1509. Okay. General journal number 3, and we are going to have a $100 deposit, or I'm sorry, $100 down payment. Right? We're going to use this against our invoice. Apply it to our invoice. So in this case, it's almost like you purchased a voucher. Okay. Okay, so now that I have that right there, I posted my voucher of $100. So I'm now at $7,926.04. Okay. Last thing I have to do, go all the way up to checking, right? Because I want to make sure I keep in the order that I wrote in my journal, so I don't skip around and forget to record a transaction. So once again, 6-8. We wrote check number 1509, general journal 3. And this time, I wrote out a check for $100, which is now going to drop my account balance to be $7,102.42. Okay? So now that my accounts have been updated, next thing I have to do is now go to the subsidiary ledger because I dealt with a vendor. I dealt with a vendor that I purchased from for inventory for, right? I'm purchasing inventory through All Things Ceramics because I will be selling coffee mugs. Okay? So here you go, All Things Ceramic, 86, right? This right here, you could fill in that this is that I bought 80 mugs down payment, right? Using check number 1509. All right. Invoice is going to be PO number 170305. Okay. Post reference, once again, this was on General Journal page 3. Now, we haven't received the actual bill yet. So in this case, terms will be ignored. So then you have the prepaid option right here. Now, as I mentioned before, you made a payment to this bill that you're going to be receiving soon. So in this case, right, I'm going to treat it as if that was my statement on my purchase order that I was required to pay $100. And I did with a check. Okay? So this will make sense when we actually receive the bill. I will show you how to counter that $100 towards your actual bill. Okay, so in this case, right, I'm going to take my invoice amount, subtract my prepaid, subtract my returns, subtract my discounts, subtract my payments. Okay, so now I don't owe All Things Ceramics at all. I owe them nothing. Okay? Once again, this will make sense as we progress through Coffee Cafe. Right? Okay. So that's the subsidiary ledger for you. Okay. Okay, so we're back to our journal. Okay, so then what did we receive here? We received a bill. Okay. And for what? What did we receive this bill for?
$6,605.08.
Yes, we received a bill for $6,605.08. In this case, that's a lot of money, so I'm not going to pay for it right now. Okay. So what do I do with this transaction if I'm not going to pay for it now? And I only have 15 days to pay it.
I forgot what you had that issue already, and I forgot where you put it.
What do you mean?
You noted it in another account, but you didn't pay it. You like left it suspended.
Okay, it's not going to be miscellaneous expense because in this case, that's an asset. In this case, we received a bill for $6,605.08. So what does that tell you? If
That you have a liability.
I have a liability, that is correct. And in this case, right?
Mhm.
How am I going to pay for this? Or in this case, how do I record that liability?
So is it not payable?
Not notes payable because in this case, I have a deadline, don't I?
Yeah.
Expense.
It's not an expense. You already said that we owe money.
Right. It's a liability. So you said you want to know where you're gonna put it?
Uh-huh.
Hmm.
Where am I gonna put that I owe $6,605.08?
Accounts payable.
Accounts payable, correct, right? That's where you owe people money, right? And it's for $6,605.08. Okay. Now, what did I buy?
That's the bill for your bistro tables and chairs.
Okay, so let's take a look. Do I have an asset account called Bistro Tables and Chairs?
13010.
Yes, so I bought a fixed asset. I bought furniture, right? I bought tables and chairs for my customers to come in, dine, and drink coffee. So I bought furniture. So in this case, 13010 is the furniture that I bought, which it says right there, bistro tables and chairs. Okay. For the total amount of the 6,605.08, because that includes the tax and that also includes the delivery charge. All right, because in this case, right, my fixed asset's going to be everything that it's going to cost me to get not only the asset to the store, but ready for service. So in this case, I bought tables and chairs, right? The minute it gets to my store, right, all I have to do is set it up and arrange it somewhere, and it's already ready for service. So in this case, my total asset or total asset cost is going to be my sales tax and my selling price, as well as my shipping cost to get it to the store. All right. So good. So now let's go ahead and let's see. We have all the information we need, right, to put our description, right? Who did we receive this bill from?
Furniture store.
Furniture store. Okay. What invoice number is this, or bill number?
75.
75. Right? What were my terms? Excuse me. What were my terms?
Net 15.
Net 15. Good. That should be all the information that you really need. Okay. So then, now that my journal is complete, right? Few things that you have to do is, number one, confirm and verify that you received your purchase order, because everything I order, right, we need to make sure we link them to the actual account. So I'm going to go to purchase orders.
Put the invoice number, right?
Uh-huh. We need to make sure that we said that we actually received our order, which in this case, bistro tables and chairs, right? We received it. It was for invoice number 75. Back to my general journal real quick so I can see what I'm doing. Okay. Now we have bistro tables and chairs. Okay, so we acquired an asset. So now to my ledger. Under asset, I'm going to locate my tables and chairs. Okay, so it's going to be under furniture, bistro, tables, and chairs. In this case, I'm going to put 10 sets of 1 table and 2 chairs. All right. General journal number 3, and we're going to debit this account for $6,605.08. Okay. Oops. Yes. So then my beginning balance is going to reflect 6605.08. Okay. And then let's see. We place this on an account. We owe furniture store some money. So I would go to my liabilities, all the way at the top of the liabilities, and I would recognize that we have invoice number 75, right? We could pull that information up from our subsidiary ledger to find all the details into what I purchased. Okay. So in this case, this was on general journal number 3. And now that we've increased our liability to $6,605.08, so therefore that should bring my value that I owe to $10,033.75. So we're getting low on money and we're owing so much money already. All right, not doing good here, but that is the reality of starting at your business. Is you're more likely to start off negative because you have to go buy all your equipment and everything to get the store ready. So in this case, I owe $10,000. Okay. All right, so that's my last entry in my journal. All right, now I need to update my subsidiary ledger because I have another bill for furniture store. Okay, that's Haley Bros Furniture Store. All right, it is 6/8. We purchased 10, and then here you could be like 10 sets, 1 table, and 2 chairs. Right? Invoice number 75, general journal number 3. Right? I believe the terms are exactly the same. All right? So then, right, I don't get any discount, but I have a due date. What is that due date?
The 23rd.
Right. If you do the formula, you just add the date and add the days. So 15 days, it's going to be due on the 23rd of June. Okay. Now that we have that, right, we owe the invoice amount for $6,605.08. So therefore, if I drag my formula down, I didn't make any payments. So in this case, I owe Furniture Store an additional $6,605.08, giving me a grand total of $9,033.75 that I owe to Furniture Store. Okay. Everyone good so far?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. So I did the journal, I updated the purchase order, I did the ledger, and I filled out the subsidiary ledger. All right. Let's see what happened next. So then here, it is finally Monday, June 10. Okay. So it is now finally time to pay for Miss Kim Robinson. All right. In this case, I'm going to pay her because that's the bill that I owe. Right? I owe Kim $1,000. She billed me on the 7th, saying that I had 3 days to pay for it. So here it is. It is now 3 days. So we're going to go ahead and make a payment to Kim Robinson. Okay. So first off, I have to pay Kim Robinson. So where did I place Kim Robinson's money? Or in this case, her bill. Where did I place it under?
Accounts payable.
Yes, you put it under accounts payable, right? Now exactly what bill number is this? Do I know? Where can I know? Where can I find out what the bill number is?
You mean our invoice number or
Uh-huh.
the check number?
You're right, the invoice number. Where can I find that information?
Oh, under sorry, account?
Not chart of accounts.
Oh, I'm talking to myself. I'm sorry.
No worries.
Where can you find? Can you repeat the question? Where can you find what?
Where can you find the invoice number or the billing number that she billed me for?
On this bill that's in front of us?
Yes, because I have to pay Kim Robinson, but how do I know how much to pay, and how do I know what bill I'm going to make a reference to?
Invoice number is 75, and the check number is 1510.
In this case, no, it's not 75 because 75 is your bistro tables.
That's the furniture store.
I recorded a bill, right?
I think it's on the ledger.
What was that?
I think it's on the ledger.
Which ledger?
The Coffee Cafe liabilities ledger. Oh, I'm under liability. Hold on, I'm looking for it. Under, you said where is the bill with the invoice number?
Correct.
Isn't that a liability?
It is a liability, but right now, uh-huh.
Yeah, I'm not under liability. I forgot where we put that bill.
Who did we deal with? Who is Kim Robinson to us?
Oh, she's a vendor.
She's a vendor. Where do we find our vendors?
Subsidiary account.
Subsidiary ledger. Good. So if I go to my subsidiary ledger and I pull up Kim Robinson, so Robinson Kim, right? Here she is, Robinson Kim, right? What do I know here? I know what happened. She billed me for the interior design for $1,000. It's due on June 10. Oops.
June 10th. Yeah, I got that one.
There, June 10th. And the invoice number that I'm paying off right here is 1542. All right? So in this case, I have to write a check to her for this bill right here for the 1542. Okay? So therefore, that's why I have you guys build these or fill in these tables, because that's the question that you're going to be asked. How do you pay a bill? How do you know which bill to pay? Who are you making the payment to? How much is the total amount on that bill? all that information is going to be in the list of your subsidiary ledger, which in this case, this is a vendor, right? You hired her to go ahead and do some interior designing consultation, and now she came up to you and billed you for her services. So now, today is the day that we have to pay for it, right? It says right here the due date is June 10th, and today is June 10th. So, let's journalize it first, and then we'll make our way to the subsidiary ledger later. Okay? So here we know that we're going to be paying off the bill number 1542. Now, how do I journalize that? How do I journalize that I'm making a payment?
It should be June 10th.
What was that?
The date should be June 10th, right?
Oh, yes, sorry. June 10th, yes.
You go to your chart, your journal for accounts payable.
Good. We're decreasing our liabilities, right? We're making a payment to a bill. So in this case, yes, we are going to be decreasing accounts payable, right? By how much?
1,000.
I'm sorry, go ahead. The total amount of the bill,
Which was
$1,000.
$1,000. Good. So then, right, how do I reflect that I'm making a payment? Checking. Good, right? In this case, I'm going to write another check for a total of $1,000. Okay? So, since I have to write a check, we need to know what the check number is. In this case, 1510 for $1,000 to Kim Robinson. Okay. So we wrote check number 1510 to pay for the bill. Okay. So I'm going to go to back to my general journal because now I have a reference point or I have a description, right? So in this case, I paid Miss Kim Robinson, right, for her invoice number 1542, and I paid with the check number 1510. Right? And that's all the information that you need, right? You could put a note that it was for consultation, but once again, the invoice number itself, since I put the invoice number there, I could easily just go to the, Kim Robinson's profile and look up that information and find out all the details on what that is with just that invoice number. Okay? All right. So that's my journal right there for paying a bill. Okay? So next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to update my ledger. Okay? So here we're already in the liabilities account, right? At this time, I made a bill payment. So in this case, right, first thing I'm going to have here is on June 10 that I paid invoice number 1542 payment. Okay? And you can go as far as putting the check number 1510. Okay? This is general journal number 3. And this time, I'm going to be debiting my account for $1,000 because now I made a payment. I owe $1,000 less. Okay? So therefore, I debited my account because I am decreasing my liabilities. So now that I decreased my liability, I dropped from $10,033.75 to now to $9,033.75. Okay. All right. You see how the trend of how a general ledger works now? you're constantly updating the account balance. Right now, I own only $9,033.75. Right? Then after I have this, I'm gonna go to checking once again, all the way up at the top of the window, because now I need to update my bank account because I just wrote another check for $1,000. Check number 1510. Journal number 3. At this time, I decreased my account by $1,000, which now has significantly dropped me down from 7102 to 6102. All right. So here, we're keeping good records of our bank account. Every check that we write is going to decrease our account. Okay. So now that we finished our ledger, last thing that we have left to do is fill in our subsidiary ledger. Since we already looked up Kim Robinson, this is what I want you to do, right? I don't want you to modify or edit any details in regards to this transaction right here. I want you to create a separate line for this one because this is how you could keep a great trail of your transaction, right? You could put the date, obviously that's going to change, right? And I'm going to say I wrote check number 1510. That's all I need to write. And this is for invoice number 1542. Okay? Once again, this is going to be the transaction here that I paid for this bill was on general journal number 3. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to skip all the way forward and say that I made $1,000 payment. Now let's check this out. If I drag the formula down here, it's saying I have a negative $1,000 payment, which then brings my grand total down below to be equal to 0. Okay? This is how I want you to use the subsidiary ledger, because if you go back and modify saying, okay, so for this example here, right, I'm going to go ahead and put my check number in there and then add my payment there. You can do that, but then you're missing the transaction of when you received the bill, and here's the transaction of you actually paying for the bill. So this is two separate transactions that you can easily see, right, and keep track of instead of meshing them all into one little line. Then you're going to get confused because you're going to be like, well, I don't know why I have the date as June 7 and then I don't know when I actually paid. Because do I always have to pay on the due date? No, I can pay before. I can pay after the due date. All right? And if you did, at least when you separate these two transactions, you can tell when you received the bill versus when you actually paid for the bill. Okay? So that's what I want you to do in your subsidiary ledger. Now, once again, moving on forth, if you don't like this idea, all right, that's great. If you want to adopt another idea where you just keep it all in one line, I'm just telling you right now, it's just gonna clutter. It's just gonna clutter that one line, and it's a lot of information that you have to make changes to. Right? Such as when did you pay versus when did you actually receive the bill. So in this case, if I look at my post reference, I wouldn't know which one went to when if I put GJ2/GJ3. That means that could be on both pages, right? So this is the best way that I think you guys should be able to use your subsidiary ledger to follow up on who you pay, who billed you, and how did you pay, and when did you pay. All right? So in this case, that brings my value down to $1,000. from $1,000 to $0 because here it said that I owe $1,000, but as soon as I made my payment, it reflected as a negative $1,000, which gave me a total of zero for owing Kim Robinson in general. Okay.
Do we not do anything with the on the general ledger with the business expense regarding this vendor?
Well, you already record the business expense already.
Okay, so we don't record the payment, correct?
This is the payment.
No, in that particular section.
No, no, no,
Okay.
absolutely not, because the job was already complete. You received a bill, so now you're taking that expense and you're putting it as a liability because now you owe to pay the service. So now that you paid it off, no, because it's already been recorded that you already incurred the expense. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Okay. All right. So that's how I want you guys to be able to work out the subsidiary ledger. Okay. So then let's see what has happened next. We're on June 10. Okay. Here you go. June 10th. What happened here?
You got approved.
Oops.
So you got an increase in your credit limit to $10,000.
Now, in this case, right? Why
Credit,
would go for it?
you got a Visa credit card for $10,000 with an 18% interest rate.
Okay. Now, in this case, Kim, you said that I have to increase what?
That would increase your revenue.
Why would this increase my revenue?
Because you have another $10,000 to work with for the business.
And did I earn this money?
No,
Okay. So it's not going to be a revenue.
it wouldn't be income because it's not there,
Revenue and income are the same thing.
right? So it's not there. Um, Something increases your cost of no. Oh, equity.
No, your liability increase.
Now
Okay.
you have equity, $10,000 more in the business.
Well, did I really get $10,000 more for the business?
Not tangible, but it's there as a credit to use, right?
Right. But what's the condition on a credit card?
You're gonna have to pay a high interest rate at 18%. That's pretty high.
Okay, but what's the condition in order for me to have to be charged at 18%?
I don't know what answer are you looking for?
You have to use it.
We have to use it. There you go. Good, Erica. We have to use the credit card.
It's a current liability.
It's a current liability, correct? But in this case, I just got approved of it. Did I spend the credit card yet?
No.
No. So in this case, do I need to record this?
No.
not in the general journal, because here all I did was get approved for the credit card. I did not say I spent it, right? All I got was approved, and these are the terms and the consequences that I am going to be receiving if I use the credit card. So if I don't use the credit card at all, I'm never going to be hit with that 18% interest. And remember, 18% is just an APR. That's very normal for most credit cards. The highest I've seen so far is 29%. Still high interest, but that's what the price comes with if you decide to use a credit card. Right? Now in this case, right, all this extra information does need to be recorded somewhere, right? And this is where it's another full disclosure, right? Because this is information that you need to know, because when you do use your credit card, what are your terms? What are the things that you have to pay? All right. In this case, if I spend my credit card, I'm going to be subject to 18% on any overdue charges. Okay, so every time I use it, right, it's going to rack up. And if you understand how credit cards work, they charge you the 18% interest in a span of 12 months, obviously. So 18 divided by 12, you're going to get compounded annually based on the amount that you used. And that's how interest is collected. So in this case, right, I only got approved. So where can I put this information? If it doesn't belong in the journal because no transaction has happened, obviously, if you didn't do the journal, then it's not going to go on your ledger. So where can I put this information in regards to getting approved for a credit card?
In the subsidiary ledger.
Subsidiary ledger, yes, because this time, if I do use this credit card, I'm going to be hit interest. And who am I going to be responsible to make payments to? All right, so in this case, it just said bank. It's actually National Bank. If you look up here and find National Bank in here, it's going to say National Bank of, where is it? National Bank Visa Gold Credit Card. So there we go. You could put the date that you got approved, but there's no transaction here. So in this case, June 10. Okay. I got approved for $10,000 credit limit. Interest is 18% APR, right? Bill due every 10th. Okay. So once again, let's see. Where are we? We are here, just double checking and confirming, right? 18% interest on overdue balances, right? And a due on the 10th of every month. So there you go. So there we go. I don't need to fill out anything else because one, I never received the bill. Two, I only got approved. And three, I haven't spent the credit card yet. Okay. So in this case, I don't need to say I owe National Bank any money because I haven't used the credit card yet. So therefore, I don't owe anybody any money. They just got approved of a credit card. So if that credit card just sits in my pocket for the whole entire month and I don't touch it, I don't ever owe any money. And I'm not going to be accrued interest because what is $0 was 18% of $0. $0. So in this case, right, I can only start adding information here if I receive a bill. Okay? But this is good information because at least I know that I got approved of a credit card for $10,000, but the interest rate is going to be 18% on overdue balances. Okay, so file, save. Okay. All right. So, what did I receive here?
Coffee,
Coffee what?
the coffee mug, we received it.
Yes, we received our coffee mugs. What else other information do I have up there? What kind of inventory did I buy or received?
Weighted average,
Weighted average, but what's the word before that?
periodic.
Periodic. Okay, so I have periodic inventory. Okay, now if you look through the details of this inventory, right? Here, my total was $196. Here, I applied my prepayment of $100, so there goes my down payment. And here, right, I have a total of $96. However, I had to also pay shipping charges of $100. So therefore, my bill is now $196. Okay? So, let's go ahead and break it down. Okay, it is June 10. Okay. I received periodic inventory. How do I journalize periodic inventory?
So we have purchase.
Purchase what?
Okay. Inventory. Oh, we have to have chart of account.
Yes, use your chart of accounts. Okay. This is periodic inventory. What do we treat our periodic inventory as? This is chapter 5, guys. When I receive periodic inventory, what do I recognize that inventory as? Do I recognize that inventory or do I recognize it as an expense?
Purchase expense.
Purchase expense, all right? So what account number is purchase expense?
61.
Good, 61,000.
61,000.
Okay. Okay. What else do I need to recognize?
Your freight.
Freight expense, correct. So in this case, what account number is my freight expense?
6,300.
Okay. In this case, am I making a payment to All Things Ceramic? I'm recording a bill. I'm given terms, right? I have I think it says right here, a 2% or 1% 10 net 20. So here I'm given terms, right? Am I good? I'm not going to record the payment now. So in this case, if I don't record the payment now,
Goes into accounts payable.
it goes into accounts payable. Good. Okay. So let's go ahead and plug in my numbers right now. Okay. So first, what is my total purchase expense? If I purchased 80 mugs at $2.45 each, what is my total purchase expense?
$196.
$196. Okay. How much was my freight expense?
$100.
$100. How much do I owe?
$296.
Now, do I really owe $296?
No, we make a down payment, so
Good, you made a down payment. So how much do I owe?
$96.
Not, you said $96.
$196.
$196. Yes. Okay. Now, my debits and credits do not match. I'm missing $100. Where did that $100 come from?
From the down payment.
From the down payment. And where did I place my down payment?
On the credit side.
Yes, but in what account did I put my down payment in?
Prepaid.
Prepaid. Excellent. So there you go. Right? I have to now redeem my voucher that I already paid for, right? The $100 voucher. Now I'm going to take that and I'm going to apply it to my invoice so that now I only owe $196 versus $296. Okay? So there we have it. Okay? Perfect. Okay? And again, accounts payable is account number 20,000, and I believe prepaid is 18,600. Okay. Here we have plenty enough information to fill the rest of my description in here. So first things first is, who did I receive this bill from? Okay. What invoice number is this? Invoice number 126, right? What are my terms? I get 1% if I pay within 10 days. If not, the bill is due in 20 days. Okay. Here is where you could say I purchased 80 mugs, etc., etc. But once again, you don't need to put that information necessarily here because I can also put that in my subsidiary ledger and my inventory, right? So there you go. I have it just like that. Okay. All right. Now that we're still here on this page, I need to now update my purchase order so that I can verify that I received the 80 coffee mugs. So here we are, 80 coffee mugs. I received it for invoice number 126. Okay. So here I'm still pending on my commercial coffee brewer and coffee grinder, right? It's already been 4 days since we haven't heard back from Haley, okay? All right. So here we are. I verified that I received the 80 coffee mugs. Okay. So I'm going to go back to my journal because that's going to help me fill out my ledger. Okay. So first things first, right? My ledger account, I'm going to go to operating expenses, and I'm going to locate purchase expense, which should be in alphabetical order, so it's going to be right under payroll expense. There you go, purchase expense. It is now 6:10, and I'm going to record that I have 80 coffee mugs. Okay. General journal number 3, right? You could go as far as putting in the invoice number. It doesn't really matter here because we are just going to just be purchasing, right? My debit is for $196, which then brings my debit balance to $196. Okay? As you can see, we will be making lots of purchases of coffee mugs. So in this case, right, we just need to keep a good track of when we purchase those coffee mugs. Okay? So that's purchase expense, right? We have to update our freight expense because that's what we got for purchasing the 80 coffee mugs. Okay. General journal number 3, right? And this time we got it for $100, right? That's the shipping it cost to purchase 80 coffee mugs. Okay. And just as many purchase orders, purchase expenses, we're going to also be having equal amount of freight. Okay. Now that we have our purchase orders done, we owe vendor money. So therefore, accounts payable, liabilities. Okay, here we are, top of the page, right? I'm going to enter in my information. So this was invoice number 126, right? General journal number 3. And I'm going to increase my liability, because it's on the credit side, by $196. Okay? Which then, right, by me putting this on the credit side, right, it has now upped my my credit balance from $9,033.75 all the way up to $92,297.75. So it increased by $196. Okay. Last but not least, that's on my list, is to take out that prepaid account. Okay. So once again, it's an asset, my prepaid accounts. It's going to be towards the bottom of the page here. So there we go. Prepaid accounts right here. Okay. You could go ahead and say it's June 10. You could say that invoice or down payment applied to invoice number 126. Okay. General journal number 3, right? And this time I'm going to credit, right? Just like in my journal, I credited $100. So therefore, I'm taking my voucher for $100 and I'm going to apply it to the invoice so that now I only owe $196 in general. Okay, so once again, that lowers my prepaid accounts by $100 to give me $78.2604. Okay. All right. So that's now that I finished my journal and I finished posting it to my ledger. Now I can finally go to my subsidiary ledger because now I can finally show you how to utilize the subsidiary ledger for this case right here. Okay. So once again, here we are at all things ceramics. Okay. You could say 610. Once again, you could fill in that you received 80 mugs. Okay. Invoice number 126, general journal number 3. And here we were given terms. All right, let's take a look at the bill. My terms is 1% 10 net 20. 1% 10 net 20, right? So in this case, I now have a discount due date because I'm given terms. This person is giving me an incentive for me to pay within 10 days, and I get to take a 1% discount. So then my discount due date is going to be 10 plus the 10th of June, which means the 20th of June is when your discount due date is, or the whole entire bill is due within 20 days, which means you have to pay for this bill by June 30th. Okay. Easy enough. Okay. And then now this is what you're going to be doing. Okay? So I'm going to apply my accounts payable formula all the way down. Okay? So this is what I'm going to do, right? In the very first transaction, I've already said that I made a down payment. Okay? And it became a prepaid account. Now that I'm going to redeem my prepaid account, right? I'm going to actually be using my prepaid account column right here, right? Because I'm redeeming it, I'm going to insert $100 there. Okay. Now, what was my original billing invoice amount? How much did I owe before my down payment?
196.
That's 196 was just the purchase price. What about my freight?
Oh, that includes the freight? Okay, 296.
296 was my actual bill. But because if I applied the formula, right? If I do my invoice amount, subtract any prepaid, subtract any returns, subtract my discount, and subtract my payments, right? If the original bill was due for $296, but I applied my prepaid amount for $100, therefore my bill is going to reflect that I owe $196. And that's how I want you to see it in this case, right? That's what I want you to look at when we're using our subsidiary ledger, and this is how I use my prepaid account. Okay, my prepaid account is going to be applied. Okay, just like that, right? To the original billing invoice amount, which should be $296, right? $196 for the actual cups plus $100 freight gives me a total of $296. But because I am applying the $100 voucher, which goes against my invoice, now I only owe $196, which is exactly correct. All right? Any questions here?
Can you do the formula again? Sorry.
So this formula right here is going to be your invoice amount. Okay? Subtract any prepaid, subtract any returns, subtract any the discounts, subtract any payments. Okay? Right? And this row right here is strictly only for the invoice number 126. Okay? Uh-huh. Any questions on how to use the subsidiary ledger?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So we're going to stop here, right? Now that we received our, actually, wait, one more thing before. I don't want to make sure that we do this section too. I just received periodic inventory. What do I do when I receive inventory?
You check it.
We did check it in our purchase orders.
You increase your inventory
We increase our inventory, but where? Because we already did it through our purchase expense.
on the inventory spreadsheet.
Yes, we need to enter this value into our inventory worksheet. So here's our inventory worksheet, right? You have a total of 3 things that we're going to be using as inventory, right? Down below is regular coffee, supreme coffee, okay? And the one that we are using is going to be coffee mugs. So this is the difference between the spreadsheet, is that this one is this is periodic, while the coffees are going to be perpetual. And I've even filled out the information for you so you know it's weighted average, right? It's coffee mugs, and it is periodic inventory. So let's go ahead and fill out this information, right? We received the inventory on June 10. How much is the quantity?
80.
80, right? What was my unit cost?
Is it 2 something? I don't remember.
It's okay, so, right? If you look on our bill, right? It is quoted for $2.45 each. All right? So there you go, $2.45 each. So then what is my total purchase price here?
296. No, where? Oh, 196.
196, right? What was my total freight?
100.
100.
$100. So then my total cost for this inventory is
296.
$296. All right. If you want to do it for practice purposes only, go ahead and calculate the cost per item. So if my total cost is $296 and I have a total quantity of 80, what is my cost per item now?
I got 370.
$3.70. Good, right? This is assuming that we're only receiving that inventory and that inventory only, okay? All right, and it's for practice purposes only. If you want to practice calculating the cost per item, here it's going to cost $3.70 per item if and when we sell it. Okay. So that's my inventory worksheet. All right. So now that we did our journal, we post it to our ledger, we post it to the subsidiary ledger, and because this is inventory, we placed it into our inventory worksheet. Okay, so I'm going to stop here for now, and when we come back, we'll continue on here. Okay, so right now, I'm going to call break at 10:12. So 20-minute break. So I'll give you that extra minute. So please be back no later than 10:33.